And more Canadian adults are moving back home with their parents since the start of the pandemic. Mike Yawney joins us from outside his in-laws' home in Calgary. And Mike, a new study called Generation Boomerang, I like the name of that, finds 1.5 million of us have already moved home. Good morning.
Good morning, Mary. Yeah, I thought it was fitting that I should be in front of my in-laws because when I first moved to Calgary with my wife, we actually moved in with her parents for almost a year until we kind of got our footing. So I thought it was fitting. I tried to convince them to come out to talk. They wouldn't. I even tried to bribe them with Timmy's. Didn't work. We got a thumbs up out the window, but that was about it. But these numbers, Mary, they're actually they're pretty startling when you look at the numbers. 2.8 million Canadians have found their living situation has changed due to financial concerns with COVID-19. And as you mentioned, 1.5 million Canadians say they've already moved back in with their parents. And another 600,000 are actually saying they are considering doing the same thing. Now, Mary, I'm going to quiz you because if you looked at men and women, who do you think is more likely to move back in with mom and dad?
Oh, I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't want to seem sexist. I have to be honest with you. From a personal perspective, I have a few friends that have had to move back home with their parents for various reasons, and most of them are female. So is it female?
No, it's actually males.
All right.
Yeah, apparently males are 21% more likely to move in with mom and dad. Now, you're not done yet. You're not off the hook. I'm still going to quiz you a bit more. If you had to break it down by province, which province do you think comes out on top when it comes to moving back home?
You know, as I mentioned, I know a few people that have had to move back home, and all of those people live in Ontario, so I'm going to go with my personal experience again. Ontario?
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes.
You are correct.
Okay.
Ontario came in number one, 6% are moving back home with mom and dad. BC, though, coming in at number 2 with 5%, and that's followed by Quebec. And now the Prairie provinces in Atlantic, you might think, well, aren't they moving back home as well? Interesting that there's two different factors here. One is the fact that they weren't quite as impacted as hard by COVID-19. The other is the cost of living. It's significantly lower across the Prairies and Atlantic provinces.
True.
So not as many people are moving back home, but it's interesting to hear just how many Canadians are considering making the move. I would like to think I can move back in with them, but I'll tell you this, Mary. My father-in-law said after we moved out, when we kind of mentioned, you know, what if? He said he's filling the basement with concrete.
Oh.
So I'm not sure if we're welcome back here or not.
Well, I can't really move back home right now either because my parents are in Ontario and my brother and his wife are currently living with my parents. So it's a full house. So I don't think I would be welcome either.
That would be a little bit awkward. That would be a full house.
Yeah. All right, Mike. Interesting study, Generation Boomerang. I'll have to read more facts on that. Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. Tough times.
Thanks, Mary.
All right, that is Mike.